Hey friends, welcome to the very first episode of Anything and Everything with Jesus podcast. My name is Jaden, and I for one am so glad you're hanging out with me wherever in the world you may be. And I just wanted to say real quick, the reason why I'm choosing to do this is because I desire to know more about the things of God and a little bit more about what's in the Bible. And I feel also a little led to share Jesus, and I thought, what a better way to share Jesus than a podcast? So I just wanted to let you know that's what I plan on doing here, but also kind of want to share anything and everything else that I feel like sharing, because I definitely don't want to limit what I do here. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Proverbs 18:21. The tongue can bring life or death. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. So there was this really interesting experiment that I found done by this Swedish company called IKEA. They're also a furniture store, and apparently they sell meatballs in the store as well. I've never been there, so I can't, attest to that, but apparently that's a thing. And so for 30 days, they took 2 plants, and they put them in various schools around Sweden, and they asked students for 1 plant to basically uplift the plant, okay? To speak life and to encourage the plant. Whereas the other one, okay, they had asked the students to try to almost bring it down, to discourage the plant, to tell it that it's worthless. And the results of this experiment were actually kind of shocking. So the plant that was spoken to positively actually grew strong and tall and was thriving basically. Whereas the other one actually withered up and died. And isn't that kind of crazy? I don't know if it's just me, but I find that kind of crazy because it's literally just words. I think it just kind of goes to show how powerful the words that we speak can actually be. And if you've been around for a long time, I'm sure you've heard the term, if you don't have something nice to say to somebody, don't say it at all. You know that one? Yeah, that one. I think personally it's the best advice you could ever be given, because whether we recognize it or not, the words we speak have immense power. And I think we have to use them carefully, because we can hurt others, and ourselves included with them. And some of you right now are thinking, well duh, okay, words hurt, and then turn off this video. But I want to encourage you to take the next few minutes, and let's just think about it for a second. Listen, because I don't think we truly understand or even realize how powerful the words that we speak can be. Words are powerful. When God created the universe, He didn't lift a single finger. He simply spoke and said, "Let there be light. Let us make man in our own image," and they became physical things. When they brought a paralyzed man to Jesus, He didn't touch the man to heal him. He simply spoke and said, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." That's all He did. Oh, and this one's my favorite. When Jesus and some of His disciples were walking somewhere, I'm not sure where, but they passed a fig tree, and Jesus was hungry, so He was like, oh, let me go eat a fig, of course, But the thing was, it wasn't fig season, so He, instead of thinking logically, okay, it's not season for the figs, He cursed it. And then the next day, while some of His disciples are walking by, they see that this plant had actually died. So that's just crazy. So now, with those, our words can literally build, they can heal, and they can kill things. Our words are powerful. And not only are they powerful, but the words that we speak also can hurt. They can do some damage. If I'm honest, words have hurt me, and I'm sure they have hurt you too. People can say some pretty mean things sometimes. But also, we can dish out some pretty mean things. I'm not exempt from this. I'm not perfect. And I've hurt others with the things that I've said. My guess is you have too. We're all guilty of this. We hurt others with our words. The tongue can bring life or death. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. Our words hurt. Did you know that when somebody speaks something negatively to you and it hurts you deeply, as a result, your body feels it physically? When you experience emotional pain, your anterior cingulate gyrus, so that's the part of your brain that actually responds to emotional pain, it increases in activity and actually activates the part of your brain that allows you to feel physical pain. And some of you are probably thinking, okay, well, what does that mean? I didn't understand a single word you said. I'm gonna simplify it for you so don't worry. So you Disney fans, okay? If you've ever seen that movie Encanto, okay, and there's this song in there called We Don't Talk About Bruno. And basically, it's a song where throughout the entire song, these characters are testifying about everything that Bruno, one of the characters in the movie, had said would happen. So, for example, he said, I'd grow a gut, and the guy did. He said my hair would disappear, and just like he said, it happened. There are so many other instances, but these are the main ones I'm going to use. And what they had said in the movie had actually happened. And even what Bruno spoke about himself and what others spoke about him became true. Some of y'all are like, okay, this is silly, and it's just a song. But don't we also allow the words that we say to others and the words that others say about us become a part of our identity? Another thing the song says is your fate is sealed when your prophecy is read, stating that you become what you believe about who others say you are. I'm going to say that again in case you missed it. You become what you believe about who others say you are. You take on that identity. Now, if we allow ourselves to be defined by the words others speak over us, aren't we just setting ourselves up for failure? Because if we're being honest, a lot of the times and the things that others speak about us or say about us aren't true at all. And we as Christians especially need to be careful about the words we speak over others and the words we allow ourselves to believe, because those words can become a part of our identity. And let me tell you this, the only persons whose words should actually matter to you and you should take identity from is from what God, our Creator, says about who you are. So when you open your mouth next time to say something, think about it for a second. For all you know, someone else could begin to identify themselves by it. Our words have so much power. They can cause damage and they can leave a mark. So in middle school, I had this friend. Well, I say friend, but we kind of butt heads more than we enjoyed each other's company. Well, anyways, that doesn't matter. But we were hanging out this one week with our friend group, and they were kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, and if I'm being honest, I was too on their own nerves. And instead of me stepping back and doing the Christ-like thing to gain my composure and to show love and mercy and grace, I just kind of lashed out and said a lot of things that were very hurtful. And after that day, I never saw the kitty. You see, this friend wasn't a Christian also, so after I had spoken those words, I had lost my chance to witness Christ to them. And I struggled with that for a long time till I realized somebody else would have an opportunity to share Christ with them. But still, I had lost a friendship, and I had lost my chance to witness. Use your words wisely. With that being said, our words have serious impact. Our words can either bring somebody out of darkness and push them into light, or they can push them deeper into darkness. They can build a person up, or they can tear a person down. Each time we open our mouths, we do one of those two things. There's no in between. God said in Isaiah, I have called you by name, you are mine. So if we are who he says we are, if we are his, then we need to speak life rather than death, because as Christians, we represent Christ. And I've seen firsthand Christians bringing someone else down with their words, and I can't tell you how discouraged I become when I see that. And you see, I'm guilty of this too. I'm not perfect, but we all have to do better, especially as Christians, because we are doubly accountable. And if we are called to love each other as Christ loves us, then what kind of representation are we showing the world if we are bringing each other down? If Jesus took on the cross for us, for our sins, for our shortcomings, for our mistakes, if he died and rose from the dead so that we could be reunited with him and made righteous through him, if he did all of that, couldn't we at least treat each other and ourselves like Christ died for us by speaking life, not death? We've got to start speaking to each other like somebody died for all of us, because somebody did. Somebody did, guys. So next time, before you open your mouth to speak, consider the impact those words will have on the other person or yourself.